traditions and expectations around dating and marriage in China. And no matter what the circumstances are, sometimes tradition is an extremely strong influence. You know, Chinese men dominate the relationship. We talk about how women in China are expected to marry young and put up with a lot of bad behavior on the part of Chinese men as they get older. The women in China don't want to do that, right? They're working hard, they're successful, they're making money, and they don't want to get into some arranged, subservient relationship. '26, '28, '29. When you become 30, it's a huge embarrassment to be a 30-year-old woman in China without a husband. Embarrassing for you and for your family. There's enormous pressure for the women to give up their jobs and their success and their drive and all of the things that they've been working so hard to accomplish for years and fall into that traditional subservient role as the Chinese wife. The divorce rate is soaring in China, so what's also interesting is there is a huge fear of abandonment on the part of women in China, right? Women in China are worried about how easy it is for men to divorce them when they get older. So women in China fear, I'll get married when we're young, I will stay home, he'll make the money, he'll have all the control, maybe I'll raise a child, he'll do his business, he'll travel around, he'll have his mistresses. When I hit my mid-30s or 40s and he's completely tired of me and he doesn't want to be married anymore, we'll divorce, and then I have no options and nobody. Because there are so many people out there without a life partner, many of whom are incredibly beautiful women who want to give their love to somebody like you, right?
Hello guys, today I want to speak about questions which women like to hear and probably which women don't like to hear and try to avoid. Almost every Ukrainian girl and woman will agree with me about questions which we like to hear, to listen. Honestly, for me, I like all questions. Because for me, it shows that person interested in me. It shows that person really serious, and if person, the more questions you ask, the more it shows your attentions, the more it shows that you're really serious and interested in building family and finding your soulmate, your couple. So for sure, it's amazing if you ask a lot of questions. Don't afraid to ask questions about probably family, about even maybe previous relations, nothing bad in it. My opinion, you know, we all not 16 years old, so for sure every one of us understand that probably some of us already have children, have previous life, have been married and then divorced. So for sure it's normal that we have like our years of our life where we was doing something. And even when you remind about some things which was in your life before, for sure some person was with you those time. So it's normal if you little bit speak about your previous life, and I'm sure that it will give you to understand more about person. It will give you understand more about character, also about prefers, about what person like, what don't like. I think it's amazing when you ask a lot of questions. About questions which really sometimes maybe better not to ask. I think these questions about politics, about religion, and probably about health. It's also, I think, sometimes can maybe hurt someone's feelings. So try to be correctly when you ask about these questions. I also understand, you guys, that it's very important to understand the family from which roots have your future wife, future soulmate, and probably you really want to know exactly all things. But I'm sure that if you became like a couple, if you will make a match, you can always ask these questions after some time when you became closer to each other. But on first meetings, on first date, I think such type of questions better not to ask. I think that you also should feel with whom you can speak more open, with whom probably it must be some kinds of some time to be more open and to be more open with conversation. You know, I can tell you even by myself, even when I have experience like a translator, people different age, different character, different, you know, some people more extrovert, some people introvert. So sometimes you can see people so much open on the first date, on the first meeting. They're ready to speak about everything. They like became like a friends just quickly. But some people a little bit shy, maybe more younger, so they don't really know how to behave, which topics open, which not open. They're a little bit shy. So also be patient, not be afraid if you see that woman a little bit maybe not too much open. It's normal. It's we all human, and you should understand that maybe she's nervous. Maybe it's her first date in life. It was foreign man. So just be patient and be careful in these topics, which I noticed that probably better not to ask. This is health. I repeat once again, this is political situation and probably religion. And I wish you good luck and arrive to our country. We will be happy to meet you, to see you, and wish you good luck in finding your soulmate.
You got all these beautiful girls, and now they think you're a star?
Now they're gonna really think I'm a star, too. Anyway, cheers. This is my first time here.
Ready for round 2 tonight?
I'm going for it. You're gonna be taping everything. You better edit this stuff. It is working out pretty good. I have to go all the way to the end here. Come make my way back around. Do you know what? I didn't expect this many women. I really didn't. I expected a lot, not that many. You'll get a good feel from the women. You're gonna walk out. Trust me when I tell you this. You'll walk out with a very, very enjoyable experience. I don't know if you can mic this, but this is badass.
He met a lot of women. I hope he found the one today.
He was gonna steal your date.
Going to attempt. But I have it so locked down that it's not gonna happen.
Good luck, man.
Not even your best effort.
Good luck.
come here, you'll enjoy yourself.
Yeah, good time. Good time. See, Henry says good time.
You have absolutely no idea of the meeting that I had this evening, the date that I had. Fantastic girl, fantastic lady. We had a great time. I'm certain that I will be back to meet her again. And I'm hoping that she will accept my proposal one day. So we'll see where that goes from here. But again, you have to come out and you have to do this if you really want it to happen. That's just the way it goes.
So you think this could be the one?
This could be the one. We'll have to see. It'll be up to her. I like her a lot. You can let her know that. If she watches this video online, maybe she'll see it. Okay? Inga, I hope to see you again.
All right.
10-4.
I thought that the social was organized very well. The ladies were very attractive, and I thought the way the social was organized was very good. Compared to other Latin American cities, Peru is very modern, very clean, very safe. I plan to return. I like it here. Yes, the thing that surprised me the most is they were very sophisticated and very professional. Almost every lady there, they had their own businesses, they were attorneys, and I thought they were very sincere. I was very impressed by that. I think you just need to get to know the lady, and I believe it's a two-way street. You know, are they attracted to you, or are you attracted to them? And I think you have to determine their sincerity. But overall, I was very impressed with the ladies. You may meet somebody and fall in love, or you may just have a great vacation, but it's a great place and the women are very nice.
Hello, my name is Will. I wanted to give my thoughts on the Lima, Peru tour that I came to in June, and it was just a great experience overall. I was really impressed with the staff and how attentive they were to anything that anyone on the tour needed, how attentive they were to making sure you got to set up dates, to organizing things. If you needed anything from the office, you could just walk a few blocks and get it. Many, really too many beautiful women to meet. I highly recommend it. I would highly recommend it to anyone. Flights aren't that expensive to here, so if you want to come to Peru, I would, highly recommend it. I haven't been on any of the other tours, so I can't compare, but I really don't feel like I need to go on any others, to be honest. I was very impressed with, the selection of women, and you really can't ask for anything more. You're in Lima, and you're meeting some amazing women, and what more could you ask for?
The tour is very interesting. The staff here at the agency is very welcoming. The ladies are very friendly and nice, and so far it's been very good for me. I definitely plan on coming back in a month or so. The translator was excellent. She was able to understand my words and phrases and put them together in a Spanish term and make the ladies understand them. Most of the conversations I had, like I said, I understood most of it, but she was excellent. I have no complaints with them. It's a learning experience, but they seem to have their stuff together and take care of business. Highly recommend her.
Just wanted to make some comments to you fellows who are trying to make a decision on whether you ought to be coming here or not. It's a delightful place. The people all welcome Americans, We feel extremely welcome in the office of AFA. Everybody's extremely helpful. But most of all, the ladies, they're always beautiful and accommodating. None of them are rude or impolite. They're always considerate. And most, believe it or not, have degrees. They're very intelligent, very educated, and it's a pleasure to be with them. And they find our accent entertaining, as I find their accent beautiful. It's gorgeous. Socials were very well organized, various tables where you go to. Each table is somewhere between 8 and 12 tables, each table having 7 to 10 women, and you get to discuss whatever you want with each woman individually, either in Spanish or English, and they always provide a free translator for you. And the translators are also gorgeous, and they're always very accommodating and helpful. They want to get the right questions. They give the information about you that's important for the ladies to understand. For example, if you're a professional, they want to tell the ladies that you're a professional, so you don't have to tell them. They already know when you arrive at the table. You get an intro, and it's all very complimentary. If you're thinking about coming to one of these AFA tours, I've talked to literally dozens of men who have been here. Not one has said anything negative. Every single one of them have said very positive things, but the most important thing they've said is this is the best time they've ever had in their life. There's nothing to lose. It's just a great time, and the costs are very reasonable.
This is my first time trying Foreign Affair. And at first I was skeptical. I didn't know much about it, but I did some research, and I called and spoke with them at the office there in Arizona, and I found out everything was good. So I went ahead and booked my flight, and I couldn't be happier. It's a great experience. I mean, you get to travel, experience the culture, the food, and most importantly, the women. And the socials are a lot of fun. You know, you get to meet a lot of people, a lot of women. You get to sit at a table with close to 10 women, just you and the women, and then you get to get up and rotate from table to table and meet all the women. It's a little bit overwhelming, but it's very fun. I think that the language barrier kind of depends on the individual. I understand Spanish. I grew up in California, so I learned a lot. I also took 3 years of Spanish in high school. So it's been a while since I practiced, so I can't speak it very well, but I understand it very well. So for me, it wasn't that much of an issue, especially with the girls that know and understand a little bit of English. We really don't need a translator. So I've had a few dates without a translator and a few dates with a translator, obviously with the women that don't speak any English, and they've both gone well. You can still determine whether there's chemistry with the person, regardless of the translator. I mean, you're still dating. The translator's there to help you, but it's still an intimate date if you want it to be. You know, if you pick the right location and you feel a good connection, it's still good.
I met my wife Catalina at a social, and originally when I first met her, even though there was a chemistry there, I didn't want to date her because she was like 4 years more than my age limit. But circumstances brought us together after the social because another guy invited her on a date and was standing up outside the hotel. We had a conversation, and she convinced me to go out on a date. Went out on a date, and the date lasted about 7 hours. The chemistry was amazing, and 6 months later I proposed, and 6 months after that we were married.
So what is going on now?
Well, a week from Thursday, I am moving to Medellin for about 2 years.
So you are going to her country. But Jim, I thought they all just wanted to come here and live in the great United States. That's what this is all about, right?
I mean, Catalina begged me to come and live in Medellin, but at the time, I owned a business, and because of my business, I couldn't leave.
So you sold the business?
With a very interesting contract.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Her father took ill, so she ended up going back to Colombia to be with her father. And we're going to spend 2 years there, and then probably build our dream house in Florida and move to Florida.
And Florida's so close for her, too, that she can jump back and forth pretty easy to Medellin. So.
Yeah, it's only like a 3-hour flight.
Yeah, that's nice. So, you know, you have no issues or problems moving to Colombia? I mean, do you feel it's safe? You're going to be okay?
Let me tell you something. You know, people who have the opinion of Medellin, of being an unsafe city or crime-infested, drug-addicted people, they just watch too much Narcos on television.
Yep. Well, me too. I had no problem walking around there, and I was going everywhere. Even on a Monday night, there's a ton of activity going on, and the women are so down to earth, so friendly. I really like Medellin. We attract like-minded men. You don't get the gloomy Gus's. You don't get the real negative types that want to do something like this. They'll never do something like this, right? They're just going to think, oh, it can never work, blah, 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 and they'll talk themselves out of it. But the guys that actually do go are the ones that you want to be around. They're fun, they're adventurous, they're friendly, and they're open-minded. And when you put a group of guys like that together,
especially after the first social, you see the guys doing a walk of shame coming back to the hotel 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning while the guys are having breakfast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's amazing. Oh, and the breakfast, like the Monday morning quarterback, right? I mean, at every breakfast. Yep. I mean, it's crazy. Well, Jim, look, I'll let you go here. I really want to thank you for coming on and sharing your experience with us, and for actually going to being in Medellin, and you and Catalina going to the social and talking about it and everything. That's going to be great. So
Scott, John, Isaiah, Joe,
I know,
myself.
Yeah. So I mean, when you think about all the guys that got married from that tour, just that one tour in Medellin that we did, yeah. Well, anyways, I think it's fantastic. I think it's great. All right, Jim, congratulations again. You'll get my bill for meeting such a wonderful woman that was way above your pay grade.
Absolutely.
Yes.
No doubt about it there.
Oh yeah. We know that. We all know that.
Like I tell people, if one of my sons was gay, I'd have my own modern family.
You do have your own modern family. It's fun. All right. Hey, thanks a lot. Take care, Jim.
We call it getting out of the friend zone, but it's much, much more than that, right? We started out this year focusing on the 3 pillars of truth, right? It's a big dramatic name for essentially 3 principles that we absolutely know are undeniably true. And because you focused on these pillars of truth, you moved forward, you took specific actions, you committed yourself to traveling to meet somebody. You said by the end of this year, 2017, I'm going to bring that person into my life. Now there's all kinds of stuff that you can read out there that tells you shouldn't do that, right? You know, I heard some statistic recently that said that less than 5% of men over the age of 50 are going to get married, at some point in the remainder of their lives. I found that to be really incredible. I think a lot of those guys need to meet us and know about us. But anyway, you'll hear all this information from people around you telling you it's not international dating, it's not international marriage, mail order brides, it's not right for you, you shouldn't do it, there are scams, there's this, there's that, someone will sell your kidneys on the black market, etc. You've heard all that stuff, right? But you powered beyond it because you were focused on 3 principles to stand on that nobody can deny, right? Here they are again in review. Number 1, people fall in love everywhere you go, right? It's true. Any place, any remote place on earth, any country, any culture, people fall in love. How do we know this? There are people there. That's what happens when people fall in love, right? It's like the Brad Paisley song. A lot of things happen when people fall in love, which is great. So that's your first principle you can stand on. Nobody can deny that people fall in love anywhere you go. How do they fall in love? They meet each other. They like each other. Wonderful, nervous laughter, that comfortable hi, hello, I've only known you for 10 minutes, but I feel like I've known you forever feeling, right? Would you like to get coffee? Would you like to go out for ice cream? Do you want to take a walk? Do you want to go have a drink somewhere? And they do that. And that goes so well. They have a second and third date and a fourth date. And before you know it, wonderful things happen. Wherever they are, however they do it, anywhere on the planet, people fall in love in that way. The second principle is that there is absolutely no rule anywhere that says that any two people from anywhere, any corner of the earth, opposite corners of the earth even, can't meet each other and fall in love the same way any two people from the same place fall in love. There's no rule, in other words, that somebody from China can't meet someone from France and fall in love exactly the way people in France and people in China fall in love with each other. There is no rule. It doesn't exist. Because, in fact, people all over the world have fallen in love with people all over the world for centuries. We just don't talk about it, document it, write about it. Nobody cares. It just happens, right? And the third principle is that you absolutely deserve to give your love to somebody. If you've got a good heart and good character and good old-fashioned family values and a healthy respect for women in relationships, and you're a good guy, you absolutely deserve the right. It really is, truly, your God-given right to give your love to somebody, isn't it? Now, you have to take control of that. You take those 3 pillars of truth and you say, I'm going forward, because nobody can convince me that these 3 pillars of truth, if you will, these 3 principles aren't pointing me in the direction of going to get my love. If you get on a plane, leave America and land it anywhere, you are very likely to find a whole lot of lonely people, many of them beautiful women who just want somebody to give their love to as well. And this becomes abundantly crystal clear as soon as we get you and women in front of each other. You see, this is really what we do, guys. At the end of the day, we go through all of this stuff, this extensive website, all of these services and product offerings, these webcasts, the video, everything we do is just to get you in front of somebody else. Because if 2 people meet each other, chemistry and attraction take over. It absolutely doesn't matter where you're from or where she's from. 2 people can fall in love. So we've talked about that, and we talked about courtship, right? And specifically, we talked about the kinds of dates that you go on. And we talked about, you know, some of the really cool places you can go in Colombia, those beautiful courtyard cafes that they make out of those abandoned 7th century missions, and how romantic they are, how European Spanish they feel. And we talked about some of the great restaurants, some of the new modern cuisine restaurants that you can find in places like Shenzhen, China, very beautiful, big, modern city. All the restaurants are so beautiful and modern. Every cuisine around the world is just a gorgeous place to go. We talked about the Philippines and all of the women and some of the cool dates you can do in the Philippines when you go to some of these great resorts and hang out on the beach for a day and just drink cocktails or eat some yummy food and just bask in the glow of each other. You can do the same thing in the Dominican or Costa Rica. We talked about some of my favorite restaurants in Ukraine, right? I mean, you just go out on dates. You go bowling, you go for coffee, you go out for drinks, you do that. And then at some point you can feel that second or third date, you're so comfortable with each other, and each date gets longer and longer and longer. And even if she doesn't speak English in the beginning, at some point, all that body language takes over. So what is that body language? You know, we're talking about she's touching your arm when you're hanging out together. You're walking down the street and she's on your arm, right? Or she's holding your hand at the dinner table when you're talking to each other. Her eye contact practically never breaks. It never leaves you. She's totally focused on everything you're saying and trying to say. She's studying every move that you're making, and she's smiling and giggling, and she likes you. You can tell it's more than like, it's beyond like. There becomes this sudden feeling of hope and purpose and fate that's involved here, right? You feel it, and so does she. And this is very naturally part of the process. So last week we talked about some of the visualization that occurs, right? You're starting to consider, if this is going to go in the direction that I want it to go, I want to get ready for love. And when you reach this place, this wonderful place where I think I'm going to risk it all, I think I'm going to lay it all on the line, I think I'm going to say everything I need to say, I think I'm going to take those risks and just tell her how I feel and see how she feels, we call that the heart-to-heart. So when you look at the steps that we've talked about in creating that love relationship, we talked about you committing to yourself to get on a plane and go and meet somebody. You've taken the journey. You're in her country. You're in her city. You've met. You've had great dates and great courtship. You can feel this growing acceptance of each other and this tremendous comfort and excitement about being with each other. And this is the time when you've got to have that heart-to-heart. It's really important. Guys ask me all the time, when do we sit down and have that big momentous heart-to-heart? I honestly think everybody's a little bit different, but most of the time I bet it could happen after 3 or 4 dates, right? So 3 or 4 really good high-quality dates. What happens in date 3 and 4? What should be happening in date 3 or 4 if she likes you? Again, all of those signs of acceptance and affirmation, right? She's talking about you and your personality and how cool you are, and she's laughing at your jokes, she's reaching out, she's touching you, she's closing proximity, she's trying to be near you. You can see on her face that she really, really, really likes you. All right, so you got to prepare that heart-to-heart conversation. This is where you are going to claim your girl, right? This is where you as a man are going to take the lead, take the initiative, and claim your girl. This is like the knight on the horse, riding through enemy lines, storming the castle gates, right? Climbing the stairs, kicking down the door, grabbing your girl, exiting the castle in classic epic fashion, right? And you've got your girl. All right, so here's how it's going to go. I want you to find a comfortable place for you and your girl to sit and talk. And before you have the heart-to-heart discussion with her, I want you to ask her, I guess, some qualifying questions. I want you to find out where she's at emotionally. And I bet, if you're right, you're going to get affirming responses to all of these questions, but these are very specific questions I want you to ask her. This is you getting ready to make your claim, if you will. Right? So ask her, becoming a true couple, going beyond a few dates where you're just having a good time bowling and having a drink or whatever, what does becoming a true couple look like to you? What does it look like? What are some of the actions and behaviors around that? Ask her that question. And tell her I have very specific reasons for asking you these questions. They're very important. And she'll get the idea that something big is coming, right? Why does a man need a woman? Why do you think a man needs a woman? Or what does a man need a woman specifically to fulfill in his life? And just ask that question. I know that sounds like an obvious question, but I want to ask that question of you. Ask her that exact question. And then, of course, ask her, what does a woman need? All right, so why does a woman need a man? I mean, some women in America are perfectly happy. Some men as well are perfectly happy leading independent lives, and they're not really into that old-fashioned, let's get married, let's settle down, start a family, and be a couple forever notion. But what do you think? I mean, why do men and women need each other? What does that fulfill in their lives? And ask that question. It's very important. Ask her, can you be happy in a committed relationship? Maybe she's already been in one that didn't work out, right? Maybe you have as well. So been there, done that. Would you like to try that again? Could you be happy in a committed relationship with one person? Could one person fulfill you for the rest of your life? Is that possible? And then I want you to ask her a very specific, pointed question, which is, if you don't mind my asking, do you find me attractive? I find you incredibly attractive. I just think you're so beautiful, and everything about you. I mean, your eyes and your hair is so incredibly natural and soft and gorgeous. That smile, and I swear I've never seen eyes that particular shade of brown or green or whatever. I just find you so attractive. I'm a big guy. I can handle it. Just, you know, you can't fudge this sort of thing. So just tell me, do you find me attractive? Do you like me as a man? If she's from Eastern Europe, Ukraine or Russia, that is exactly the question you ask her. Third or fourth date, let me just ask you, do you like me as a man? That is their specific way of thinking that they find you attractive. She'll know exactly what you're asking, guys, right? Do you think of me when we're not together? What do you think about? How do you think of me when we're not together? And ask her those questions. So I'm sure that sometimes girl might be a little bit shy speaking around this, especially if there's an interpreter involved. But I guarantee you, if she likes you, she's going to give it at least a good try. She's going to try and appease you, try and answer those questions, try and give you as much of that information that you're asking for as possible. You've asked those questions, you've kind of qualified where you're at, where you're coming from. You've prepared her for what we call this heart-to-heart, which is a really important discussion that you have with your girl. This is the crossroads. This will tell you whether or not you're going to have those additional dates, whether or not this relationship is going to the next level, whether or not she's your girl. And here's how you present it to her, right? You just be honest with her and you have a conversation and tell her the truth about your journey. And most of you have the following things in common. So you would say something like, okay, sweetheart, look, in the beginning, I was just tired of being alone. And I decided to do something about that, but to be honest with you, I was alone for a long, long time. So I looked at all the possible options. I had heard that some people meet online successfully and are happy. I heard there were some horror stories and some ridiculous things that happened. I really didn't know what to think of it. At first, I probably thought this was more of a crazy idea. I mean, flying halfway around the world to a country I've never been to before to find love, but I've seen the evidence that it works for some people. So I thought, why not? I'd give it a try, right? And, you know, I know that people fall in love all over the world, and there's no rule that any two people anywhere can't fall in love. And I believe that I have a lot to offer somebody, and I wanted to give my love to someone. So here I am. I got on the plane, all right? I purchased this crazy romance tour or this club package, and I came here, and I figured, what the heck? I'll meet some nice people. I'll probably have a nice vacation. What's the worst that could happen? But to be honest with you, I am just so incredibly happy that we met. And when we met, I really felt like this is it. This is the purpose for my journey. This is the whole reason. Everything that's happened has happened and how I discovered this and the decision that I made. I just think there was something really fateful about it because, man, I have such a great time with you. Our first date was magic. It was a lot of fun. Remember when we did this? And I just thought you were so cute and I couldn't stop smiling, this stupid, boyish smile. And our second date and third date were really wonderful, and I felt like I was talking to somebody and spending time with somebody that I'd known intimately for a long, long time. Did you feel that way? Do you know what I'm talking about? And now lately, today, yesterday, these last several days, I don't think of anybody else. I only think about you and our time together. I don't want to meet anybody else. I only want to get back to you as quickly as I can. And I think a lot of thoughts, I think all the thoughts that a man who's been lonely and alone for a long time would think when he'd met this beautiful girl who seems to really like him. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel that our meeting was fated. I feel that there's something really magic about it. I absolutely want your love. I want to give you my love. I want to fall deeply, deeply in love. I think we've begun that already. I want to completely be your man. I want you to completely be my girl. I want the whole entire experience of love, and I'd like us to experience that together. And I'm completely ready to commit to that. I want to have fun together. I want to have adventure together. I want to write a love story that's better than any romance novel or any movie you've ever seen. And I want to do that together with you. And I don't want to be boring. I want to be fun and exciting for you. I want to have the best friendship and love experience we can have together. I'm completely ready for that. And obviously, this is where I ask you if you feel the same. And if you don't, definitely please be honest with me. I really like you as a person. I'll be incredibly disappointed, obviously, but I certainly will understand and appreciate your honesty. If you do feel the way that I feel, I want to hear that from you too, because right now we can decide what to do with the rest of our time together. So please tell me, what do you think of all of this? Am I crazy, or are you feeling it too? And that's it, guys, right? You ask those questions. You state your journey and why you're here. You put it all out there for her, and you get ready. Look, you probably wouldn't be having this discussion with her if you weren't probably right, that she feels the same way and she's as ready for that love relationship as you are. So you sit back after you put it all out there for her, and you have your moment of truth. And this is when you're likely to hear from her, likely to hear the exact same things you just said. And I bet she'll say, you know, I wasn't really sure what to think of this. I only came to the social because a friend of mine invited me. I absolutely didn't expect to meet somebody, but there you were, and I thought you were quite handsome. And I just decided if I don't meet anybody else here tonight before I leave, I am going to meet that guy. And we met, right? And it was a lot of fun. You laughed, and we joked and had a great time. The date afterward was terrific. And these last few days, people have said they've noticed a big change in my appearance. And I told a friend about you, and she said she could tell that something significant had happened to me. And yeah, now all of a sudden I'm excited. I'm also a little nervous about what's going to happen now, but I haven't been in a relationship like you in a long time. And I want to be loved, and I want to give my love to somebody. And if you truly feel the way that you feel, I'm as open to this as you are, because I really, really like you. And I want us to go forward and have this experience that you're talking about. I want us to have all of it. I'm as ready as you are. I'm totally open to you. You will get something like that from her. Now, sometimes girls are a little bit shy, so you might have to coax some of that out of her, right? But you can do it. For example, girls in Latin America sometimes can be a little shy. Girls in the Philippines, sometimes culturally a little bit shy. Women in Ukraine, women in Russia, women in China, and a lot of women in Latin America, per se, not so shy, right? Because you have shown up, and you're precious and rare, and this is a great experience. This is exactly what they were hoping for, maybe not expecting, but hoping for. And here you are, and you just put it all out there. So I think in most cases, in my 17 years of doing this, when I've seen men put it all out there, the women respond absolutely in the same manner, ready to go, feeling the same way, excited as you are, right? And that's your moment of truth. Now, if she says, I'm not ready or I need more time, that's okay. You can give her more time, or you can decide that maybe it's not meant to be if it's not meant to be. But most of the time, guys, when you have that heart-to-heart discussion, there's a reason you're having it. You're not having it on date number 1 or date number 2. You'd feel like a fool if you were doing that, right? It's date 3, date 4, date 5, when you've had entire days together, when you hate to see the end of the evening come, when you absolutely want the next date to come as quickly as possible. You just know, you just feel it. And she reciprocates everything that you've just said. And then you've got, at that moment, you absolutely should embrace and kiss your girl, right? Absolutely. Now, this is great. This is where you know you've met the person you were intended to meet, right? You breathe a big sigh of relief. You're ready to have some great fun. And at some point, later on in that date, or maybe the next date, the next time you're together, over the next day or two, and you've confirmed to each other that you're definitely going into this committed love thing, all in, right? You start to talk about that sacred space concept. You mentioned it during conversation, right? You know, I believe that when couples are together, I think that one of the nice things for a man to do for his beloved woman is to create this beautiful, soft, warm space to welcome her into. And it's decorated with things that really please her and maybe some nice surprises. But I'm really looking forward to having that with you. I've got great ideas for creating that space for love, that sacred space together, and I can't wait to share those ideas with you and show them to you. And I think it's important to work together, guys, to have these affirmations of acceptance of one another, grow that relationship with ambiance and with touch. So your dates should be in really romantic settings, and you should definitely be reaching out to touch your girl and caress her. There are ways that you can caress an arm very tenderly to demonstrate what you feel for her and the direction this relationship is going in. She can do the same. It's one thing to hold somebody's hand for the first time when you're nervous, sweaty palms or whatever. It's another thing when you're sitting at dinner, you're having coffee or dessert, you're looking at each other, and you've got her hands in your hands, and you know what I'm talking about, guys. You've got a very soft, gentle caress going on, not only with your thumbs, but with your fingers and her wrists and her forearms. And you're saying more than just, it's fun to hold hands with you because I think you're cute. You're making that very, very soulful demonstration that you're ready to take that relationship to a very deep and intimate level, right? Don't push her, don't pressure her, just wait for her to respond to it, because of course she will. Talk. Ask questions. Listen for acceptance. Right? Ask her questions, deep questions. Listen to her. This is not a time when you're pushing your intentions or your agenda on her. You are deepening the relationship by asking those deeper questions, those soulful questions, listening to her, letting her talk, letting her express, letting her be. Why? Because how often do lonely people get to do that? I mean, usually it's only when you found somebody, you found that partner, that you can go into those deep, soulful places and talk and express and be comfortable just being who you are. So ask those deep, soulful questions and listen and get ready and give her that acceptance, right? Claim your girl. I think it's great if you're sitting together, you've got your arms wrapped around her, you've got your legs wrapped around her. If you're sitting on the beach, you're drinking wine or drinking champagne, you're holding her hand, you're caressing her, look right at her and say, "You are my girl. You are my girl. I am your man." Do you understand? Say those things. Claim her. Women love to be claimed. If you're the guy to claim them, they absolutely love that. Make that statement. You are my girl. I came halfway around the world to find you. I did all of this for you because you are so special and there's just not another one like you anywhere. So I had to come here and claim you. You are absolutely mine. You are my girl and I'm your man. Do you understand? Say it. Say it just like that, guys, right? Be ready for acceptance. Do all of that. Do all of that. And love will come to you. No girl is going to listen to all of that, hear all of that, feel all of that, express all of that in return to you and not understand that you've fallen in love, and lovers will do what lovers in love do, right? And just wait for her to come to you, and she will surrender to you, and be ready. Be ready with your sacred space. Be ready with your affirmations. Be ready to demonstrate your love and care for her. Intimacy should never be one-sided, and you know that. No matter how lonely or how long it's been, it's going to be all about her and the kind of man you're going to be for her. Say those things. Say every single one of the things that I told you to say, guys. Work them into the conversation when it's appropriate, and then wait for her. Wait for her surrender. And that's a surrender that you earned. Love is a privilege. Love demands courage and respect, and sometimes it demands that we put on the man pants and take significant action. Sometimes it demands that we go halfway around the world to find it and realize it. But you were capable of all of that. You did all of that. You didn't know you had that knight inside you, did you? We think that knights don't exist anymore, right? We think that princes and knights and kings and queens are the stuff of old and they don't exist anymore. In reality, they're inside all of us, right? So you brought your love to her. You expressed it to her, you offered it to her, she accepted it, you claimed her, she claimed you. There's nothing left to do but be lovers in love. You're going to meet so many incredibly lonely women who would express their desire to meet somebody and give their love just the way that I've expressed you to go after it, I promise you. And you're going to find that when you're on that second, third, fourth date with somebody, you're going to feel it. She's opening, she's surrendering, and it's a surrender that you earned and should have and should realize. So enjoy that. It's exciting, and you're about to do all of that and you're going to earn the love and the surrender that you deserve. It's very exciting, right? If you have questions around our tours, our programs, our opportunities for you to meet somebody, you got to call us up, guys, right? Do your inner knight a favor and pick up the dang phone and call us. We're not here to hurt you or push you into something you're uncomfortable with, but we're definitely here to help you find the love that you richly deserve. I will be back next Monday night with a live webcast for you. My man Kirk will take care of this for you to make sure it's all presentable and stuff. And next Monday night, guys, have your questions ready. If your questions can't wait till Monday night, that's okay. bud@loveme.com or call me up extension 204 in Phoenix. Take a look.
So normally when I go to a seminar and I meet the different men, I'm not lucky enough to be on the tour with them as well. In this case, I met Eddie at the seminar. We talked all about what was going to happen, and here we are, and it's happening. So I wanted to get your perspective on it. First of all, what convinced you to go to the seminar? What motivated you to come to Dallas? Because you flew from Atlanta, didn't you, just to get to Dallas? So talk about that a little bit.
What I was skeptical on, is this for real or is this a scam? So I wanted to hear it in person from a human being, face to face. So John and his wife did this seminar, and John was step by step of how these tours go. So I digested what John was saying on the do's and the don'ts. What I want to stress is, if you're skeptical, go to one of AFA's seminars. It doesn't cost you anything to go, just to travel to get there. And everything that John said is what's on their website. You've got to do this. You got to do it for yourself. This is for real. This is not. John just asked me this morning if I would be willing to sit down and be videoed, but you can trust AFA. It is what it is. Here, I'm here. I did the Odessa tour, social, which was fantastic. I did not do the Nikolaev social because I met a girl here that I dated that night, and she didn't want me to do the social. So to show that I was really interested in her, I negated to go to the social.
You defected.
I defected, yes. And I disappeared also this past weekend.
We were worried about you,
and
Eddie.
Everybody worried about me that something's happened to Eddie. You know, he's in jail or dead. But and I disappeared here in Nikolaev too for past couple days. So
you went into that social in Odessa. Was it a little overwhelming for you? We talked at the seminar how it was going to be a little bit overwhelming.
Right.
I mean, what'd you feel?
No, it wasn't overwhelming. There was at least 200 women there, but you have to go with the mindset just to mingle, open up, and just have a good time. Hit the tables, talk to the girls, whether you need an interpreter, which a lot of them spoke English. Matter of fact, the one I went out with a couple times this past weekend spoke very good English, so I didn't need an interpreter with her. You need to come and experience it, but have the mindset of what you're looking for, and be upfront and be truthful with the women you date. And trust me, some of the guys here have been dating like 4 women in a day. I took a different path. I wanted to concentrate on 1 or 2, and that's where I'm at right now.
Good. And you know, you are now in the process of dating some of the women you met, some of the women you were writing to as well, right? So you're dating those women. And we talked a little bit at the seminar about how the age difference is somewhat difficult in the United States, because if you got more than, I say, a 10+ year age difference, it gets a little more difficult, but outside the U.S., it's more relaxed. And you're finding that here as well. You're dating someone who is a little bit younger than you are, right?
Right. In the U.S., people look at a couple and, oh, wow, gray hair guy with a good-looking blonde or whatever, and they start staring at you and stuff. Here it's totally different. It's the age barrier to the women doesn't actually enter into the equation.
It's more a problem for the guy.
It's more a problem for the male to say, you know, oh, you know, golly, 28 years old, 26, but they're looking for stability in a relationship where they don't have stability here in relationships. As the divorce rate here is probably as high as it is in the United States. So for me, I try to block out the age difference. Now, naturally, I don't want to date a 20-year-old or a 21-year-old. That's pushing the limit a little bit.
So as far as the staff goes, were they helpful? Were they...
Anna, who met me at the airport with AFA here in Ukraine, super woman, great. Joe, he's a Phoenix police officer, super guy. The staff back in Phoenix is great. Ia, Michelle, the receptionist, she's like probably like, oh no, here's Cara calling again. You know, everybody's been great. It's you've got to come and experience it. That's all I can say. And this was not a setup. John just said, hey Eddie, would you mind doing a video of?
Yeah, I hear all the time guys say, oh, you pay these guys.
No.
We've never paid anyone in the 22 years we've been doing this to give us a testimonial.
No, this was off the cuff, and I'm not good at this, by the way. That's why I'm wearing sunglasses. So
you're doing great. We may buy your coffee. We'll see. So.
But no, it's really a good trip, and I want to thank you, John.
I appreciate it.
I want to thank you for the seminar. Just don't talk about I want to go. You just need to make an effort. Make your reservations for the airline, and then AFA takes care of everything else for you. Look everything over, decide what you want, and keep an open mindset on it. And then just look at it as a vacation, be happy-go-lucky, and just be yourself. I don't know what else.
That's it. Eddie, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Oh, John, I appreciate you.
Hi, my name is Angelica. I'm from Nikolaev.
I thought that
my friend actually came to the social last time, nearly 3 months ago, and she gave me a very positive review about this, so I decided to come and to find my love here. It's a great opportunity to meet your love. It's a great opportunity actually to know a person in a very short period of time. For man, for sure, when he comes here, he can lose his mind because of all of these beautiful girls. But I believe in love. In a foreign guy, for sure, I'm looking security at first of all, and serious relationship, because unfortunately our guys can't be so serious nowadays. What exactly man can do incorrectly on the date? At first I'm looking how he's dressed up. If he totally doesn't care and came to me on a date without roses and some old t-shirt, it will give me some image that he doesn't want to meet with me, and he seems that I'm like a friend only for him. The right way for the guy, like for me, for example, for sure, if he will invite me to some nice place for dinner, will came with flowers, and will be a very gentleman with me. But there is one thing which completely turned me off, which you ask. It's, for example, when foreigner guy trying to send me his naked photos, or he's trying to insist on meeting with my mother on the first date. It can be crazy. To turn me on, actually it will be nice if the guy will also like to walk a lot, to speak a lot, and will be very open with me and will try to open all his heart and all his thoughts to me. And what about that, what I can tell a guy to come here? For sure, you should be honest with the girl, you should be honest about your intentions. Maybe your intentions not so serious, or maybe you're really looking for a future wife. And I want to give you advice, try to find something more close to you in age difference also, because it's very, very important. So I wish you good luck in this, and I wish you to find your true love, future wife, your health, your feelings, and everything what you can find. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Tatiana. I'm here to find a man with whom I create a family, who will give me much attention, and I'm sure I can find it here.
Hello, my name is Anna, and I want to meet a man who will be a part of my heart.
Hello, my name is Natalia. I want to fall in love.
What about the other guys on the trip? Has that been a added benefit, or how did you view like the other guys? You view them as like competitors, or how was that?
No, actually, the other guys are very supportive of each other. There's no such thing as competition here. There's just too many beautiful.
It's not happening? No, it's not gonna happen.
He was going to steal your date. We told him there was a 1 hour rule, but he was going to do it in 10 minutes.
He's going to attempt. He's going to attempt. But, I have it so locked down that it's not going to happen.
Good luck, man.
Not even your best effort.
Good luck. I feel sorry for her, but good luck.
Hey, you didn't make room for me back there.
We are at the store getting cool stuff for the orphanage, and the guys are helping. This is cool. This is a really, really fun part. I love it when the guys are meeting the women, getting the marriages, and this is really a cool part of it too.
Your impressions of your comrades, you were just talking about them. A lot of guys wonder what it's like. Is there a lot of competition? Is there a lot of tension between the men? What was your experience with your tour mates?
Absolutely not. None of those things. You know, it's like, you know, we all come here to have fun, to enjoy the country, which I have. You know, I love history and I love the beauty of Ukraine, the historical. The value is priceless from that perspective alone. So if you look at it from a vacation, which I did, I've been rewarded many, many times over for my cost of coming here, for example. The guys have been great. The guys have been great. We've been very open on our likes and why and who, and we share it and we laugh and we have great conversations about it. And it's like, you know, I kid around and I say to the guys, I said, we should draw up like an NFL draft day board and put our names and the ladies and who we're going for, and we could just I'll be in the loop on, well, we already took you to that restaurant. But it's been a blast. I mean, I met guys that when I landed in Odessa, it's the first time I met anyone, is when we jumped on the van, which was great. I mean, you walk out of the airport and you say, okay, where do I go next? And there you got the AFA Valak there with David, the sign holding up your names. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's comforting to know that. And then you bump into someone else. Hey, I saw you at the airport on the connecting flight. You say, yeah. And I said, geez, I was wondering if you were going on the tour. Yeah. And it's like clear sailing from that moment on. And it's like we've known each other forever. You know, we exchange email, we exchange cell phone, we exchange all kind of information to stay in touch after the fact. So
this particular group has been hilarious, quite frankly. We've had more laughter and hilarity than I think I've ever experienced in my previous 17 tours, which is saying a lot, but what fun, right?
We had a lot of fun. We laugh all the time about it. We laugh all the time.
Oh my god. Now you know the whole freaking story.